Hello, Java Challenger. I'm here again with Jonatas. Jonatas is doing the Challenger Developer course, and we're gonna do today a video for the Java Career Boost series. And very happy to have you here, Jonatas. How are you?
Good, I'm good. And very happy to be here also.
Very good. So in this first video, I'm gonna make some questions about Jonatas' career. In the second one, I'm gonna answer those career questions to him. And the third one, he's gonna make career questions to me. So I have here some questions that will address his biggest career challenges as a Java developer. And can you tell me a little bit about your Java career?
Yeah. I tried to just give you a quick summary because I have some changes during my professional life. I started as a QA, but I was always studying how to code. So I was automating some process at that time, 2007, 2008. That's why the company moved me to a developer. In Brazil, the salary is very different from the QA and from a developer. So I stayed as a developer, but I bring all this QA mindset to my developer journey. So I was a developer that was always doing test automation, unit tests, TDD. I was always aware of that kind of practices. And then after some times as a developer, different languages, I have around 6 years of Java experience, but I didn't have the opportunity to start from the beginning as a Java developer because I was developing different languages, got interested in Java. I started to study Java. And when I start my first interview with Java, I was directly to a normal Java developer, a plain Java developer, not a junior. I was not internship in Java. I was not junior in Java. I was directly to a software engineer, Java software engineer. And I didn't have the opportunity to go to the fundamentals of that time. So I was always struggling with the main concept, with the fundamentals, but I was delivering the code. I was delivering what the company was asking for, but always bringing unit tests, integration tests, in writing about that. I was writing in the past also. But that's why some company here at Portugal, they saw some of my writing, some of the things that I was doing. They invited me to work as automation engineer. So I moved to Portugal to work as automation engineer to do some migrations to improve their integration test platform. And I was receiving a lot of interesting challenges, and the salary was good. That's why I understood, okay, I'm a test automation, and that's okay because I have a lot of interesting challenges, but I was losing uh, all the Java knowledge that I had. And then I changed the company, and now I'm working mostly in a Python testing infrastructure. And I'm moving to a Java team as a test automation, but now I'm not able to give to them, for example, a good review because I'm a test automation that likes to be involved in all the development process. So with the knowledge that I have today, I'm not good in review code. I'm not good in pairing. I'm not good in bringing interesting ideas and concepts and design architecture to the team. And this is make me a bit frustrated about what I'm delivering. So basically, I have a lot of problems on my implementation because of this lack of Java knowledge. I'm facing some Java issues, and I'm not contributing in the way I was expecting with the team because of this lack of Java knowledge.
Okay. So I can see here clearly from what you said that one of your biggest pain points is the lack of Java knowledge. But can you tell me what's your biggest pain point? Maybe there's something else.
I really believe that my my biggest problem is related to the fundamentals because Even when I'm reading, because we have our internal testing framework, so it is a normal Java application. And when I'm reading the code, I'm taking sometimes too much time to understand the logic behind to fix some issues. And I know that, for example, one of my biggest issues is because I was 5, 6 years far from Java. And Java is basically a new language today. So we have a lot of new feature. I didn't have the experience to work, the opportunity to work with Java 9, for example. So I even know how these modules work. So when I receive this environment, I even know how to read the configuration properly. So I take too much time on that. I think basically is that I have many other issues here in my current position because I still dealing with some legacy code in Python, and I'm not a Python developer. But I know that if I have a good understanding about design pattern, about concepts, I can read better even the Python code. But I'm still struggling with Python also because most of this data structure, I'm not good on that.
Yeah, so for sure, by mastering the fundamentals of object-oriented programming, data structures, design patterns, clean code techniques, it helps a lot to create better code with any programming language. I know that with Python, it is more difficult because it's not strongly typed as Java, and it's not also strongly an object-oriented programming language. So it's more likely that developers will make a mess in the code, but it is what it is. So
It is what it is.
yeah, so okay, so other than bad code, other than the lack of knowledge in Java, what else bothers you in your career as a developer?
Yeah. Considering that in this new opportunity, I'm too far from the main product, I still want to be pairing with the developer, reviewing the code, but I feel that missing more opportunity to create code, to create things, to develop things. I was moving back to my studies because I'm considering maybe in the short term or the middle term try to move to a Java position inside this company. But I know that I have a lot of work to do because I need to be at least understanding what they are doing, reading their code and giving good suggestions. So I know that I need to study more because I think that if I have the right knowledge, I will be able to move to a Java position, for example, in this team.
Okay, and what do you think it's the Java skill you need the most?
Currently, I think that I need to. So I'm putting aside my lack of some concepts and data structure. I'm studying that. I'm studying that, but I'm putting it aside, and I talk about Java API and these kind of things. Uh, and I'm not very aware of streams because I didn't have opportunity to work a lot with streams. No idea about how, modules and how it works. No idea. Didn't write that. And I have some problems with concurrency also because also lack of opportunity to do concurrent code and this kind of applications. This I'm just talking about Java API. I'm not talking about microservice and all those different paradigms that we have.
Yeah, so just for your information, you don't even need to know a lot about modules because when you're working in a Java project that is Java 9 or higher than Java 9, you don't do any configuration with modules because the modules are basically automatic. So there is the option of restricting modules, but usually you won't use those concepts explicitly in Java projects. And regarding concurrency, in the vast majority of the enterprise projects, you don't need to know much about concurrency, really. So those things you think that are obstacles for you, they are actually they are not, right? They are not things that will impact you for an enterprise project. Obviously, you need to know what's concurrency and you know what's concurrency, but like those are things that really won't impact you at all for the vast majority of the enterprise projects. So, what else bothers you regarding Java?
I don't know if I would use borders, but I would like to have more knowledge. I don't know that today we are not talking exactly Java, JEE. I think we today we talk Jakarta, something. Yeah.
Jakarta or Spring. Nowadays, the most popular framework is Spring.
Yeah. So I would also like to be more aware of this Spring Jakarta environment to understand better how to build better enterprise applications, for example.
Yeah, I think if we talk about Spring and frameworks, I think that would be a blocker if you lack the experience. But it's not something that you can't learn. It's, in my opinion, depending on the complexity of the framework or tool. Well, in my opinion, like learning Spring is easier than mastering the whole Java programming language, right?
Right.
So, and really, you don't need to know 100% of Spring. You need to know basically the main features that will enable you to create a microservice, to create robust, reliable microservices. That's all you need. So it's the same thing if you're using AWS. You don't need to know all the services they have. They have, I think,
They have
more
a
than
lot.
they have a lot.
I was checking a graph, so it's insanely amount of service they have.
Yeah, and if you analyze the services as a developer, you're gonna use just a bunch of them. Like I think it doesn't pass 20 services. Like so it's not that much. Sometimes you have the impression that you have to learn lots of services, but it's actually not needed. So I like to use the Pareto principle because that's pretty much what happens. For example, if you are having the Java certification, you learn lots of concepts, but I'm pretty sure that you won't use not even 20% of the concepts you learned to get the certification. So, one concept that you rarely use in an enterprise project are files. And this is a vast subject for the certification. So, this is just one example, but there are lots of other examples. And this was something that was valuable back in the days. It's like
Imagine. Yeah.
to master technologies and be an expert and know those technologies very deeply. Back in the days made sense because you just needed to learn Java and the framework. Like if you were good with Java and Java EE in the backend, that was enough. And if you knew a little bit about Jenkins, about automation, that was enough. Nowadays with microservices, we can't have this luxury anymore.
Whole new world.
Our new world, yeah. You have tons of technologies to learn. So we have to be strategic. We have to understand principles behind the scenes. And we have to also use the Pareto principle. Learn at 20% that you're going to solve 80% of the problems.
I feel that, for example, when we start to have that conversation, I move it back to the studies. And one of the things that I was doing, I was using, for example, AI to guide me in some topics. And I was even using, for example, I would like to understand an example of abstract or adapter. I was studying about adapter, design pattern, and I was asking, I don't know if it was inside a Tomcat. I was being really precise in my question. I would like to check which class inside the Tomcat repository that implement adapters, something like that. And I was able to find the class inside the Git repository, and I was reading the code. And I think that I I was able to read the code. So I know that if I need to do something, I can do that. I will take more time, but I know that I'm able to do that. That's why I feel that is I'm learning it. I'm understanding that it's important to have the concept, have the design pattern, because I will be able to read and understand easily, right?
Yeah, I think it's a really good practice once you learn the concept in theory to see it in practice. I think what you did is amazing. It's amazing to see how the adapter design pattern actually works in a real world scenario.
Yeah,
Because once you learn in
that was the
theory,
idea.
okay, you can do an example with cat and dogs, but it's not the same when you see the real thing, right? When you see the design pattern being used in with Tomcat, for example, that's very good. And I would recommend you to do that with all design patterns. And you can easily see, I think, all design patterns you can imagine on the Spring framework.
Yeah,
Actually, in any framework, you can find design patterns. Even in the Java programming language, you're going to see lots of design patterns there. We have lots of options to see those design patterns in a real world situation, which is amazing. It helps us to really absorb this knowledge.
and talking about motivation, because I share with you in your WhatsApp, doing that, studying design pattern, studying, using the repository, the main repository, real world. I was able to spot some typos on the comments or documentation. I sent the pull request and it was accepted. So
Yeah,
I have one contribution on Tomcat and one contribution on JBoss WS CXF.
excellent.
Just studying like that, checking the repository, and suddenly I saw some typos, and hey guys, we have a typo here, and they accepted, and my name is there.
That's excellent. And the thing is that once you do those simple pull requests and it's accepted and merged, then it's much easier to create other more important pull requests. And then they're going to do a contribution that millions of people, millions of developers, God knows how many users will use your contribution.
Yeah,
That's amazing. That's amazing. So it's a win because by doing that, you learn a lot about advanced code and you basically overpower your LinkedIn profile or your curriculum or your CV. So that's a great strategy to get back as a Java developer. Okay, Jonathan. So now, what are your main motivations to achieve your career goals?
and guys, one of them, maybe the main one in a row, is have a better salary because I have a family. I want to give to my family a good life, comfortable life. So have a good salaries is something really nice. But for me, it's really important to have this personal and professional balance. So I also want to be able to choose the company that I want to work. If the company is too hard with employees, I want to be able to, okay, I want to go to a different company because I have knowledge to do that. So I would like to have this enough knowledge to have a good salary and choose the company that I want to work because of this professional and personal balance to enjoy my family, of course.
Amazing. And currently, what prevents you to choose your job?
This lack of knowledge and probably lack of discipline with my studies because it was for a long time not studying and evolving with the language. I was in the past working with Java and not going to the fundamentals and data structure and algorithm. And then I was facing a challenge that was some of those tools was needed. I was wasting a lot of time. So instead of studying that, I was wasting a lot of time, delivered the code, and move on instead of give a step back, study some concepts, should be better and faster next time. So I think that what prevents me today to have this freedom is this past bad strategy of not being getting the right concept and the discipline to keep studying.
What prevents you from being disciplined?
The past, for sure, it was pure laziness. Today, I think is more organization. I think I feel that I have lack of time to to organize my day and have proper time to practice things.
Tell me more about that.
Okay, so basically I work 8 hours a day, sometimes a bit more, and I have different things to do during the week. So I have some meetings, personal meetings. I have my personal life. I have my beliefs, for example, and I separate sometimes during the week to be with some friends that have the same beliefs to practice, to study different things together. I have this, I don't know how to say that, but sometimes we need to help someone in some situation. So you are always available to have some conversations with your friends. And of course, all the time that I have after work, I really like to enjoy with my wife and my kid. So for me, it's really hard to separate the time, considering that I feel that I have short time to enjoy them after work. To enjoy friends, enjoy family. For me, it's a bit hard to do that.
Okay. So you mentioned many things here. You mentioned that sometimes you need to help someone, which is fine from time to time. We're going to help someone, or we might need help as well. Hard to manage time because you want time with your family. So currently, is your routine? What is your plan to get better with Java and the Java ecosystem?
I have a plan, but I'm still struggling to follow this plan. But I'm trying to separate at least 30 minutes, 30 minutes to 1 hour a day to practice something. But sometimes, for example, when I want to study some specific code that I need to prepare, sometimes the environment, I waste most of my time preparing the environment. And when I saw, okay, I lost my time and now it's time to have dinner and then read a book with the kid. It's kind of, and on the next day, because of the past experience, oh, come on, I was not able to start that thing yesterday. So I need to, instead of study the second thing, I need to move back and study the first thing that I was not able to study. So that kind of things uh, bothers me. And sometimes because of this bad feeling, I just stop it. And just on the next week, I just, okay, I need to study and move back and try to follow the plan.
Yeah, so one thing you have to learn is that no plan survives in the battlefield. So that's why when I tell you and the other 200 developers to plan, it doesn't mean that it has to be set on stone. It's perfectly fine if you, for example, try to configure a Spring project and you get stuck in something, some configuration, to go back to Maven, for example, or to go back to a Java concept. Actually, this is the best approach. Otherwise, it will just memorize little things. You will create the project, but you won't be actually learning. So that's the thing. Like when you practice, you really create skills. You create real skills, not fake. So that's why this struggle is so important. So, and you have to shift this mindset, right? Right now, you have a mindset that if you're configuring, you're wasting your time. No, you're not wasting your time. You are learning. You have to expect
Yeah.
struggle when you are learning something new. Like, don't expect to get something new and all of a sudden you make everything work and you are the big boss, the master. Doesn't work like that, right? You have to go through the struggle, and that's a normal part of the learning, right? And the other thing is that you have to find the sweet spot. It can't be too difficult, and it can't be too easy. Because if it is too difficult, it will happen exactly what you're telling me. You're gonna get demotivated because you think, oh my God, that's so hard that again. No. And then you get demotivated. So try to find the sweet spot. If you had an error that you have no idea what's going on, go back a little bit. It's totally fine. Make it easier. Not that easy, but in the sweet spot.
Okay.
So how would be the feeling of achieving your goal of becoming a Java developer with a good salary?
It's an interesting question considering that because I will reach something that I want because my expectation is to have the life that I would like if I reach that level. I will feel rewarded. I don't know. I will feel because it is not only about job. So I'm thinking here about everything that I will be able to conquer with this level of knowledge and salary. So many things that I would love to have with my family. So I don't know, but the feeling is something exciting. I don't know, rewarded. I don't know, and feel that I reach something that is important. So I don't know how to put it in words. It will be a really good sensation feeling.
Amazing. Very good. So, do you want only to work with microservices as a Java developer, or that wouldn't be an issue for you? Like you could start working in a monolith with Java.
I feel that the world, considering microservice, seems to be more colorful. Challenges seem to be more interesting. But if I have the opportunity to work in a monolith that is well structured, beautiful code, and the product itself brings value to, I don't know, society or people that I know, or if the product is important, it doesn't matter to be in a microservice or monolith. So if well structured and the product brings a value that I consider important, I think I'm okay with that also.
That's a very good answer. And would you mind working in the front end as well, or you would prefer to be owning the back end?
I don't mind to work in front end. In my mind, I never splitted that because when I started, we were just developers and we were struggling with JavaScript at that time and jQuery and it's
Success.
and CSS. So we were developers and we want to deliver the product. So I don't mind to work with front end, and we have many interesting technologies. We have Vue, we have Angular, and we have the opportunity to learn different aspects of how to organize your code when you also know some of those tools. So maybe to work as a backend will be comfortable, maybe, but I think that for me is it seems to be interesting also to work. I don't know as a full stack. I don't like exactly this name because in the past it was just developer, but
Very good. Yeah, so that's enough questions to you, Jonatas. I wrote down here your biggest career challenges. And in the following video, I'm gonna answer to you and guide you on your next steps regarding the challenges you told me. So thank you very much. And I'll see you in the next video then.
thank you for having me. Thank you.
Cheers.